Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are back at it with another episode of Engines of Strasburg. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Canadian National 260, number 89. 89 was originally built in February 1910 by a Canadian locomotive company in Kingston, Ontario, for the Grand Trunk Railway as number 1009. In 1919, it was renumbered to 911. In 1923, the Grand Trunk was merged into the Canadian National Railway, CN. With 911 being one of the thousands of locomotives working for this new railroad, in 1951, 911 was renumbered to 89. Most of 89's career on the CN is actually unknown, and it appears that it spent the later part of its working life in Quebec before being retired in the late 1950s and being stored in a dead line of locomotives in Montreal. In 1961, 89 was purchased by the New England seafood magnate and steam locomotive collector F. Nelson Blount and moved to North Walpole, New Hampshire in the United States. 89 found a home in the former Boston and Maine North Walpole Roundhouse, and starting in 1965, would begin operating on the Green Mountain Railroad and would be moved across the Connecticut River to Bellows Falls, Vermont. 89 became Blount's favorite locomotive. He would often be found at the throttle until his unfortunate death in 1967. In July 1972, the Green Mountain Railroad sold 89 to the Strasburg Railroad at Strasburg, Pennsylvania. Duh. This is a leaner village along the Great Kosciuszko Road, stretching out for 2 miles along the path later known as the Strasburg Railroad. The population was 2,809 at the 2010 census. The move from Bellows Falls to Strasburg was overseen by a Strasburg employee, Lyle Mallinger, doing a stopover in Penn Central's Button Yard in Marcus Prairie. Number 89 was stranded when Hurricane Agnes caused the Susquehanna River to flood so much of the area. 89 spent several days submerged in the rail yard but emerged with little to no damage. Upon arrival to Strasburg, 89 faced east and remained that way until a turntable at the Railroad Museum in Pennsylvania was installed in 1973. 89 frequently operated in tandem with Pennsylvania Railroad 440, number 1223, on Strasburg's half-hour trains until it was taken out of service in the early 1980s for major repairs. During these repairs, which lasted a majority of the decade, 89 was completely rebuilt from the ground up, including major boiler repairs and running gear work. The most of the work they did was in the inside we really can't see. Emerging from its rebuild in November 1988, 89 returned to pulling the half-hour trains, being joined by former Norfolk Western 480, number 475, which was actually the engine we talked about in the previous episode. I'll leave a link in the description. In 2008, 89's tender logo would be relettered to read Strasburg Railroad, in keeping with Strasburg's policy of historical authenticity. Here are some TV shows and some movies that 89 appeared in. In 2013, the locomotive appeared in the live-action segment of an episode of Daniel's Tiger's Neighborhood, titled All Aboard. The segment was filmed in October 2012. In 2022, 89 appeared in the episode of The Glide Child, a TV series entitled Charity Has Two Functions, with an unlimited tender. 89 appears at East Strasburg Station in 2012 History Channel series, The Man Who Built America, in multiple episodes. And also, 89 is mentioned as the locomotive pulling the train and described it by its troops by Detective William Martroop in Martroop Mysteries, Season 15, Episode 16, It's a Wonderful Game. Here are some specifics about the locomotive. Type and origin of the power type is steam. The builder of locomotive is Canadian National Locomotive Company. The serial number is 922. The build date is February 1910. The wheel configuration is 260. The gauge is a 4'8" 8.5" gauge. The driver dia is 63 inches. The wheelbase is 49.271 feet, or 15.15 meters. The adhesive weight of the locomotive is 120,600 pounds, or 54.7 tons. And the full locomotive weight is 140,800 pounds, or 64.3 tons. The fuel type is coal. The fuel capacity is 10 long tons. The water capacity is 6,000 April gallons, or also known as 7,200 U.S. gallons. The boiler pressure is 170 psi. The heating surface of the locomotive is 166 square feet. That's the firebox. The cylinders are 2 inches outside. The cylinder size is 21 inches. Sorry, guys. 21 by 26 inches. The valve gear is suspension. The valve type is piston valves, and the train brakes type is air. The tractive effort is 26,300 IBF. The operators are GTRs and CN, Green Mountain Railroad, and Strasburg Railroad. The class is GTR E-2. The power class is E10A, and CN 26%. By the way, sorry guys, the CN 26% is the power class. The number in class is 9 out of 24. The numbers are of the locomotive that I went back and forth from is GT 1009, GT 911, CN 911, and now CN 89, GMRC 89, and now, as is today, known as CRC 89. The locale is Canada / Vermont / Lancaster County, PA. It retired in the 1950s for revenue service, and it was reserved in 1961, and then it was restored in 1967. The current owner of Canadian National 89 is Strasburg Railroad, and the deposition is operational based at Strasburg, Pennsylvania. Okay, guys, so that's going to do it for this episode of Engines of Strasburg. The next episode I'll be doing of this is going to be Pennsylvania Railroad 7002. So I'm really curious about this one, so I really don't know a lot about this engine. So we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so you guys see any new videos that I post. I'm gonna go relax now because I did so much reading, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.